Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Whisky Adventures. If you're new here and you haven't checked out my other episodes, welcome. My name's Mitch. I'm a bit of a whiskey geek. I've been in the industry for almost 20 years now. Just made myself feel really old there. But what I do is I go around Scotland, and the whole idea behind these episodes is to give you a little bit of an insight into the Scotch whisky industry that's a little bit different from this. I'm here to talk about this new whisky and give you more of this. So today I've got a little bit of an exclusive because I'm at the Glenturret Distillery. And that's Colin right there in the shop. Colin, everyone see Colin? Wave to Colin in his nice suit. And I'm going to have a little nosy around their new fine dining restaurant, which is going to be incredible. So this is a bit of a big deal, guys, because well, currently as I film this, we don't have any distilleries in Scotland that have a fine dining restaurant in them. And these guys have gone all guns blazing with regards to this. I mean, I'm talking beautiful restaurant, which you're going to see in a second when I get in there. They've got a really strong wine list, 420 different wines that are going to be on the list, 150 single malts that are going on there, and not just Glenturret as well, competitor brands. And they've got an amazing head chef, Mark Donald, who used to be the head chef at the Balmoral. They have a Michelin star restaurant called Number One, and he was the head chef there, so stay tuned to check it out. So to give you an idea of where we are right now, Glenturret is tucked away in Perthshire, just outside of Crieff. A beautiful part of the world, known for its greenery and absolutely stunning. Stone's throw away from Gleneagles, and it boasts to be the oldest continuous working distillery in Scotland, so dating back to 1763, which is quite incredible. Now, for those whiskey geeks out there, you may remember that this used to be the famous Grouse experience when it was owned by Edrington. Since then, it has been taken over by Lilique, which is a luxury company, and some of you may have heard of it with regards to Macallan, because they partnered up to create their stunning decanters, including their 72-year-old Genesis. Love a bit of Genesis. So the new owners have really focused on the Trinity, what they call the Trinity of Glenturret. And what that relates to is three things: provenance, prowess and process, really focusing on those three key areas within the distillery. And you can kind of see that when you go around this distillery. Things are really done the old-fashioned way. I mean, there's still a guy in there that turns the mash by hand, which is the only one in Scotland to do that by hand, so quite incredible to see. And the other thing is, they actually have two cats. And the distillery's boast is they've always had a cat on site. Now, when you get a cat in a distillery, it's actually called a Mauser. Mauser because it catches mice, obviously. This is Turret right here, and there is another one right now called Glen. I know, not very original. Distilleries have cats for the main reason that they hold a lot of grain, and back in the day they had Mausers because the cats basically ate all the mice. Now that doesn't exist today. Distilleries have things in place that don't really ensure that mice get into the grain, obviously. But Glenturret have held on to the tradition of having a Mauser here because of this guy. So this is Towser the Mauser, who was, again, not a great name, who was the most famous distillery cat. And Towser was born at the distillery back in the 60s. Story goes that during Towser's 24 years at the distillery, she managed to kill 28,899 rodents during her time. Pretty precise figure, and I know what you're asking. How do we know that Towser killed that many different rodents? Well, a team from the Guinness Book of Records came down and observed Towser for one day, find out how many rodents she killed, and then just basically times that by her lifespan. pretty scientific.
So we're just about to launch our new restaurant experience on the 20th of July, but we've really been on a bit of a roller coaster ride since March 2019 when we were bought over by the Lalique Group, the French luxury crystal company. So we've been bringing out new whiskies, new markets, new restaurant, new refurbishment at this distillery here, so it's been a busy old couple of years for us. Triple wood is probably my go-to. It's our non-age statement, it's average is 7 years old. But American oak sherry fill, American oak bourbon fill, and European oak sherry fill. So when the business was bought over, we inherited 25% of our stocks were from peated. And that was really historically, Edrington used us as a blending malt for the famous Grouse Smoky Black. So we looked at that and had a couple of decisions to make. Do we sell those casks off and continue Glenturret unpeated the way it's always been or traditionally? Or do we do something with it? So we decided to bring in peat smoked into our range, and it's been a tearaway success.
So I'm here in the restaurant with my good friend Mr. Colin Hart. Colin, thanks for inviting me along, man, to have a look at your beautiful spot.
No problem at all. It's a pleasure to have you. It's a great opportunity to have a little sneak preview of what we're doing up at Glenturret.
Absolutely. So you're going to be the GM here. You're going to be running after the whole place. After 20 years of hospitality experience that's brought you to Glenturret. You excited?
Yeah, completely. It's just a fantastic opportunity, a really unique opportunity to bring a different level of hospitality into a distillery.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that. So this is going to be the first fine dining experience that any distillery's ever seen, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so we've got a 26 cover restaurant, dinner only restaurant.
What can people expect when they come here with regards to the service, the kind of food? Like, what's the whole ethos of the place?
Bringing in the ethos of the distillery into the restaurants, it's really about humble hospitality and done exceptionally well, and just trying to play with the flavours and just really push that dinner service to a really truly Scottish feel, but kind of using great flavours and using great produce from around Perthshire.
Man, I was looking at your glassware as well. Yeah. Obviously you're kind of spoiled here being Lalique and you have the glassware and...
Yeah, we really are. It's one of those things Lalique is a great opportunity to use some of the great crystal stemware.
I've already got 5 of them in my bag, by the way.
I know, don't worry. I've got a few at home as well.
You got like GPS trackers on them and stuff.
But it's one of those things is that people really aren't. Once you get those, once you have something that you feel that and you taste that, taste great wine out of it, great whiskey out of it. It kind of does make a difference.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen my video on glassware, check it out.
Yeah, we really want to have something for everybody here as well. So it's kind of afternoon teas, wet bar lunches, whiskey flights, kind of then going into this sort of kind of dinner as well. So yeah,
I think that's the cool thing now, right? I mean, traditionally, you look back on when distilleries opened up, and we're only talking the kind of 60s when we started to invite visitors into distilleries. Yeah. And from that point, it was like very simple tour. You get a dram, and that was it. Yeah. And now the interesting thing is every single distillery that's opening up is having an experience. There's like a cafe, there's a shop. Sure. You guys are doing everything here and doing it to a very, very high standard, which is really impressive to see. Well, thanks again for having me here.
No worries. Good pleasure.